Hi again, YouTube. Just a real quick introduction. Several months ago I did a real quick overview of the Kreg micro pocket hole jig, and it was one of my first videos. It wasn't great, and the other day while I was working on a range hood, I just took a couple of minutes while I was doing my setup and went ahead and recorded a little video of playing with the 1/2-inch jig. So I want to kind of redo, I guess, the micro pocket hole jig video. And so I'll set it out here real quick on the bench and give you a real quick look before the video starts. Okay, and here's the jig, how it comes. It's in a box, and you open it up, and this is just the pad that locks the clamps. It's got the big pad on it, goes in this, and this secures to the jig, and that's what I think of that. You get a little bit smaller drill bit than the standard size. And this one has a sighting hole where you're supposed to sight to the material size, and I don't know if you can see, there's a mark on there, and there's a 1/2 and a 3/4 mark that you're supposed to sight through here and line up with, but you can't go by that. That is not accurate. You have to test and manually adjust every time you want to use this. This is the jig itself, and there's a good weight to it. I think it's a quality product. It really feels substantial. And then these are the material stops, and you just lock these on, and we'll discuss those in the video. So that's how and also you get an Allen key with it for adjusting the collar. So that's what's in the kit, and the rest we'll talk about in the video. So this hood we're working on is the upper part is 1/2-inch material. The skirt part on the bottom is 3/4-inch material. But the 1/2-inch, there's absolutely no structure to this. It's basically just decor. So as long as the material sustains itself or supports itself, then you really don't need much else. The skirt down the bottom is going to hold the blower unit, and it's going to be plenty strong to support it on the wall. So when you're using the 1/2-inch material, you need to be very careful in assembling it, because again, it's very thin material. So Kreg has a micro pocket jig, and this does work, but again, you need to be careful with it. It's twitchy. You need to be a little bit careful setting it up. And then we're using the small headed screws, and we're really short screws. We're only either 3/4 or 1 inch, and they only have a fine thread on the 3/4, so it's not a whole lot of gripping power, not a whole lot of mechanical strength. So we have to be careful setting this up, and I always recommend when you're doing a new setup to do some test drills just to make sure you got it right. And with this jig, the stops that come on it, these snap on the end, and these are supposed to be your material stops as far as your thickness. And yeah, see. But the problem is they don't lock reliably, and they do slide around. If you're not careful, you're going to end up drilling in the wrong place. So I pull those and just toss them and flush up the edge of the material on the end of the jig. I'm hoping, yeah, you can see that. Okay. And I've got another clamp around with a big pad for this, but I'm not going to waste the time to look for it. Okay, so we got that clamped on, and we got this small drill bit, but the depth we need to play with a little bit. I think I've got this set, so I'm going to try it where it is. They've got markings on the bit. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take the collar off so you can see, but they've got markings. There's one for 3/4 material, and there's one halfway under my collar for 1/2-inch material, and it ends up kind of in there somewhere. Those are not hard and fast. So that's why you need to test every time you do a new drill, a new setup, and make sure you're doing what you think. At least for me, because I don't use this often enough to remember. So we'll give it a shot and see what we got. And that does not come through the end, which I think I want it a little bit farther. I think I want it just to bubble the end of the material out here where the drill bit just hits the end. And get my square drive. And we're going to I'd like to use 1 inch. I don't know if I can. The one nice thing being paint grade is I can fix screw ups. So what am I doing? I'm too busy talking to you. Yeah, see, that barely sticks through. So it's either not far enough or too far. So if I do that with a 1 inch screw, where does that put me? And that's going to be too deep. Let's grab another piece of 1/2 inch to compare. Yep. See, and that was the problem I ran into before. The 3/4 screw is too short and the 1 inch screw is too long. So I'm not quite sure what I was doing, that's where I left the collar. So, hiding stuff on me, myself. Okay, so I'm going to want the collar just a little bit deeper. Just to get a little more material. And in 1/2 inch stock, don't assume that this mechanical fastener is going to be enough. You have to glue that end. It's not enough to hold. Okay, that's what I like. I like just a little dimple on the end of the wood where the step bit hits the end grain. I don't want it to come through. I want to basically just touch it. And I figure that's about as deep as I can go. And yeah, that gives me just a little more. It gives me probably 3/8, and that's all I can hope for with these things. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you in this little section, is that they do have the micro jig, the 1/2 inch jig. I would always test it before you go on a piece of finished material, and it's really tweaky. You got to be careful getting it set up just right. The two sizes of screws, neither one is ideal. You could use the 1 inch into, if you're going 1/2 inch into 3/4, that's not a problem. Anyway, it works, but make sure you use glue, and it's going to take a little bit of playing around to get it right. Okay, and as usual, I'll put some links down in the description box below, and I hope you guys will like and subscribe and watch the channel for more videos. Thanks guys, have a great day.